So I just watched Milo's news conference of him resigning from Breitbart because of the statements that he made about a year ago on some sort of live stream that were taken out of context, and it made him sound like he was promoting pedophilia or something similar to that. In the news conference, he ended up confirming a lot of what I already thought, because I remember probably about a year ago, I think I remember him actually talking about something very similar, or maybe I had actually seen the video or something, and I don't remember ever taking it as him promoting pedophilia or anything that he had happen to him, because from what I remember, having been a Milo fan for well over a year now, was that he was talking about his own experiences and stuff. And then in the news conference, the other thing that kind of struck me was he said that he was probably drunk at the time that he made those statements and just kind of wild shooting it and whatnot. And so I could see how you would say something stupid if you hadn't thought it through all the way, but yeah, it's one of those things where it's really hard to defend because you're like, oh shit, this is like treading on really dangerous territory. Because I think in general in our society, sex with a minor is one of the most taboo things because it's so terrible. And I think, especially, like, I watched both of Styx Hexenhammer's videos on this, and he's very uncharitable to Milo. He thinks he's just an attention whore. And from my perspective, I see Milo as actually being very sort of sincere in what he's saying. And I think he looks back on his past and regrets a lot of the things that he's done, especially in terms of, he talked about being a bit of an alcoholic. He talked about, you know, the partying and not leading, I think, what he would consider a good lifestyle. And eventually he says he straightened himself out, which I don't know. I don't think you can condemn somebody for that at all, you know what I mean? And I don't know. Sargon of Akkad's video on it is pretty good. Not on his main channel, but on the new I don't know, one of his other channels, his shitposting channel, he made a video response about this, and he talked about it from the child abuse aspect and Milo trying to cope and whatnot, and I think that's fair too, although I would question Sargon of Akkad a little bit on his objectiveness, just because Sargon is actually Milo's friends. They've gone out drinking and all that stuff, so this is just really shitty. I mean, the guy, if he wasn't so popular with people, because you can guarantee, after having watched that news conference that he had, he's just going to grow in popularity over this, because he's come out, he's said sorry, he's apologized to other sexual assault victims, he himself was sexually abused. In this situation, he's just going to come out looking like the victim, and he's going to get more popularity out of this, and he's going to become more successful, and if he does it the right way, odds are he's going to make a lot more money. Come here. Why are you being whiny? Anyway, so it's one of those things where it comes out as you know, news, and you think to yourself, oh shit, is this true? And luckily I could think back on it and go, what the fuck, Milo's not a pedophile, what are you talking about? He was sexually abused. I mean, I remember him talking about his experience and explaining that was one of the reasons why he turned gay and why being gay isn't normal. He was making the argument that gay people tend to have something wrong with them, you know, or some sort of abuse or something, and he points to him being gay as a result of him being sexually abused. So it doesn't make any sense to me, the way that he presented the story, at least the version of the story that I heard, and then would be pro what he had experienced. It doesn't make any sense to me. And so it's such a weird time that we live in. And this is something else that is very strange, like, that is going on right now. I keep hearing this term thrown around, the deep state. That used to be, like, conspiracy theory land. That used to be, like, so bizarre. Hold on. Sorry about that. So, yeah. Anyway, so the term deep state is being thrown around everywhere. And that used to be some massive conspiracy theory shit right there. What? The deep state doesn't exist? What are you talking about? You're crazy. Like, no, I'm not crazy. Come here. You want me to hold you? Come here. You bum. You're just a big bum. Okay, sit. Sit. So anyway, this used to be some really bad conspiracy theory stuff. And it really makes me think we live in like a 1984 world. Except for the difference between 1984 and today is that our technology has been configured in such a way that we're all able to talk to each other without assembling. So nobody knows we're talking to each other. And nobody knows who's talking to who or why they're talking to each other, what's being said. Unless you want to analyze literally every single piece of data that there is out there. But there's so much out there that there's no way which they can possibly do it. I think this is one of the best things for our society right now, is that there's just too much happening. There's too many of us to control. We're just like this massive swarm that our governments can't control anymore. And I think it's great. And it's really interesting because the mainstream media seems to be part of this so-called deep state that people keep talking about, because look what's happening. The deep state is very, very clearly against Donald Trump. They're against literally everything that he does. All of his moves, they're trying to counter. They're trying to sabotage him, despite the fact that he's done relatively nothing. Like, he hasn't done anything to cause any sort of concern. If anything, he's, you know, decreasing the violence that the United States are participating in, because he's not bombing the hell out of other countries like Barack Obama was. But the deep state liked Barack Obama, so the media was very favorable to Barack Obama. So now what you have happening is anybody who disagrees with whatever the deep state wants is being targeted by the media. You got Milo. Who else was there? Oh, PewDiePie. And PewDiePie's being targeted by the deep state because he has too much influence. He's got I think it's like 54 million subscribers now, which is crazy insane. I actually went and subscribed to his channel because some of the stuff that he actually does is kind of funny. But I wouldn't say that I'm a particular fan or anything like that. But he's got so much influence, especially over the youth, and he can't be controlled, and he's proven that time and time again. And so the media coordinated an attack. Like, everybody was in on it, it seemed like. There's just hundreds of articles published about PewDiePie. Like, the media hates him. And the deep state probably hates him. And then you look at Milo, and Milo's shaking things up, and he's advocating for free speech, and he's arguing against all of these leftist, crazy, ideas. And he's arguing for less government control, and the deep state doesn't like that because it doesn't want to give up its control. And so you gotta shut Milo down, so you have to make him look like a pedophile, even though he was the victim of pedophilia, and he's a gay man who likes black men, so call him a racist too, because we gotta shut him up. We can't listen to his ideas, we gotta shut him up, and we gotta keep the populace from listening to his ideas, because the more the populace listens to people like Alex Jones, like Milo Yiannopoulos, like Mike Cernovich, like Breitbart News, like any of these other people that the media loves to target. Even Sargon of Akkad gets it, and he's a total leftist. I wouldn't say that he's like to the far left by any means. He's more of a centrist, I think. He's very, very reasonable and rational, and somebody that I think personally I could get along with. And so it's just crazy. The media's going on a full frontal attack on all of these no-name people, and by the way, giving them an endlessly new supply of people that are coming to check them out because you're saying these outrageous claims about them. So why not go hear what the fucking Nazi has to say for himself and downvote his video? But then you start listening to him and you're like, wait, he's a gay guy who likes black men? I thought you said he was a racist. Hey, he's Jewish? Wait, no, you said he was a Nazi though. This doesn't make any sense. And so the media is doing this fucking shitty-ass job, and this just tells you how terrible the deep state is, if their media arm is so shitty. Their media arm is so shitty that they're skyrocketing all of these people into infamy. And they're making them bigger heroes to the people that already like them. And exposing and red pilling other people who have never heard of them before. So, that's all I have to say about that, I think. It's just a very strange time that we live in. And I think just, even if you don't have like a big followers or subscribers or whatever, just putting your opinion out there, I think, is really important. And because the more that there's kind of this outcry, this consensus, this sharing of ideas, the more that we can see which ideas are better than others and what the truth actually is. Because if you just went by the media, what the mainstream media says about Milo Yiannopoulos, you would think that he's a complete pedophile and wants to fuck little boys. But that's not the truth of it. There's a way more complex history and so much more nuance behind those comments than what is being portrayed. And it's misleading and it's wrong, and the mainstream media is just going to hang themselves. They're going to be irrelevant in a couple years, and I mean, they're already losing massive relevancy as it is. I mean, so I'm going to go.